So Makatza, this beautiful Torah on Lag Bomer, we shouldn't say it now because it's Mamash Erev Chag, but it's almost Shkir. So on the 30th, almost, we're still on the 2nd, the night after, we're going to be celebrating with Rashbi's Hilula. Yeah. And so our holy Yid here is saying some beautiful Torah about Rebbe Akiva and the Tagim and his Talmud, Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai.
Yeah, and all the Torah that was lost. So that part is very sad that we lost all of that Torah. However, all of it stopped and all of it got reunited just from these 5 guys, particularly from Rebbe Shimon. Now, Rebbe Shimon ends up being in the north of the country, and all the tzaddikim that started to come back to Eretz Yisrael already like 600 years ago, where did they come to? They didn't come to the Holy Yerushalayim. You would think they would. They came to Tiberia and they came to Sfat. That's where they went to. And about 250 years ago, they had a big time earthquake, and many tzaddikim were killed inside of these areas. And they asked the Chassam Sofer, who writes this, how could it be that such a holy place suffered such a massive loss and a lot of these tzaddikim died? And do you know what Chassam Sofer said? He said it was a little bit of a shtach. It was a little bit of a embarrassment, a busha that you gave to Yerushalayim by going up north. You came from Spain and Egypt and all these different places. You could have come to Yerushalayim, and instead you went to the north. Instead you went to these places, Rabbi Abu Lafia and other huge tzaddikim that went. Why did you go up there?
Well, you know what they say is because it's the mokum of Avir and Mayim, 2 Yesodis.
Yeah.
And there needed to be a connection to the Tahara of Eretz Yisrael, which is very strong up in Sfat. Mm-hmm. That's one of the reasons why the Yeshiva Shem Ve'eva was there as well. Mm-hmm. There's tremendous Tahara purity. Right now I have tonight a festival there with Nissan Black and all these guys. There's over 1,000 people going just to this festival. And for Meron, there's going to be probably this year thousands and thousands going, even though there was a bit of a block from all the different tragedies that happened the last few years. But even with the war going on, it's Pelagic. Think about it. People are going up north because the Tahara and the Kedusha of being by Rashbi is something else. And
that's really, and ultimately that's why they went.
The Sanhedrin was by there, and the Sanhedrin.
The Sanhedrin was in Tiberia. That's true. Yeah. They made it up there. No one's arguing Eretz Yisrael is kadosh, but the fact of the matter is, Miriam is there. The fact of the matter is that they went up Dafka to this area, and that's what the Chassam Sofer writes, that it was like a shtach to Yerushalayim.
A lot did try to come to Yerushalayim, but Yerushalayim didn't have resources like it had up in Sfat in terms of the, it was very broken Yerushalayim. And if you hear about the Ramban, talks about when he came to Eretz Yisrael and he saw such churban. He was Nachmanides, and then we got Rebbe Nachman here. He came to Eretz Yisrael, and he also went up north as well, like to the Tzaddikim up
But
there.
The idea seems to be that these guys that came knew that Rebbe Shimon's going to be the guy to take us home. The Zohar and the light that he's going to go ahead and reveal is going to be what's needed to finish the deal and to bring the Geula, and that's where they ultimately wanted to be connected to. And have that. Now, the whole idea of going to Meron, on Lag Bomer. Any idea what the earliest writing is?
Going to Meron?
Yeah.
Must be the Arizal. That's people bring it
very
from
good.
Arizal.
People bring it from the Arizal. From who? Who wrote it? His top Talmud, Reb Chaim Vital. Reb Chaim Vital writes that my Rebbe, the Ari, went from Egypt at the time on a donkey. It took a long time with his son to cut his hair to go to Lag Bomer. But he says, he writes, and this is crazy, I saw this, don't count this as anything so significant, because at the time that it happened at the time that he went, it was 9 years ago from when I'm writing this. And at that time, that was prior to the Giloi Eliyahu that the Ari had. He had some sort of revelation from Eliyahu Hanavi that totally changed everything that he wrote and how he saw things. Wow. And so anything that happened prior to that, you can't learn from it particularly. But then he says last year, he did it again. He went up on Lag Bomer, and this was after the Giloi. Now you can count on it. You can bank on it. That's legitimate. And so those are the earliest writings that we have for it. And they got to the point where people started to go, Rabbi Yosef Cairo and the others that were there in Sfat said, hey, it's Sefirah Omer, guys are jumping around, dancing, they're frolicking. Yeah. Maybe shut it down. This isn't right.
He was a big Baal Halacha.
Maybe shut it down. And the Ari said, Don't shut it down. No good will come from it.
Wow.
The Rebbe Shimon loves this.
Wow.
This is all we have the writings.
Yeah, I mean, the Satmarov used to go there during the 9 days, and he wrote about it. He said there's no Avelis for Rashbi, even during the 9 days. All the Avelis is bottle once you come to Rashbi. That's what's part of the vort of Lag Bomer is bottle the Avelis of Sefirah Counting Shtiebel. Because the Hilula of Rashbi is a Hilula. It's not a Yotzai. It's a celebration.
Yeah.
You know, and the Hemshich is from you said, so from Rebbe Akiva to Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai, and then the Mesorah in Arizal, it goes through to the Arizal, to the Baal Shem Tov, and to Rebbe Nachman, and that's where we are today. Torah Lamed Zayin.
Yeah.
Sifches, Zer Perish. I'm finishing off a Torah, and I appreciate you guys listening, because you did step in once or twice to it. Dorsho Hashem. Through any kind of wisdom, you're able to seek out Hashem. Because the whole thing is the relationship with Hashem, Dorsho Hashem. At the end of all these tzaddikim, you have to remember when you're telling all these supreme tzaddikim that it's their devekas to Hashem that brings all these in the sin of plus. And that's not even the ikka. The ikka is that they love Hashem so much. They have such a gewaldige relationship with Hashem. They dorish Hashem like David HaMelech. Hada mifarish va'uzo. That's ayidei Torah. So that's one of the things my Rebbe says. Told the Rebbe says you want to connect to Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai and Lag Bomer, learn his Torah, even more than going to Rashbi. That's how he holds. His Chassidim and his students, his children do go, I think, but the Rebbe doesn't go. But a lot of the people who connected to him do go. But still, his main nakuda, he says, is to learn the Torah. I once got paid to go up and down to Meron to learn the whole Zohar, the last part of the Zohar. From right at the end, there's a not Tikkuni Zohar. It's called I forgot the name now. It's been so long since I learned it, but I went through it, and it's like the final part of the Zohar because it's connected to the Yotzai, to the Hilula, excuse me. So then that was what I was actually paid to do it by someone. It was amazing. I just went and read it. They told me just read it, and I read through the whole thing. Uza ayidei Torah, lo ayidei chachmas acherim. Now this is important chiluk, not through other chachmas. My Rebbe said, Amin Hashemayim, when we learned this, Shehem sichlis v'hoy. He said exactly this lashon from his Zayda, David Tona. It says Yotzai recently Netzach Shabbanetzach, and tonight it's Hod Shabahod. So there's obviously a connection. And today was Hod Netzach Shabahod. So the David Tona on Netzach Shabbanetzach said that Chochmas, you'll never have true Tanuk like you have from Torah. You'll never have true Yishuv like you have from Torah. The real thing is Torah. Torah brings real Yishuv and real Tanuk. And he says here in Rebbe Nachman, Shehem sichlis v'choshech. Yeah, it's like foolishness and darkness, keneged chachmas Torah, when it's against the wisdom of the Torah. And that's one of the big things that we have to realize. When you're learning Pinimiyus Torah, there's the biggest chaskus of Torah. You know, people think, Chassidim, like you said, dancing around, this sort of, no, but they're only dancing from the Simchas of Torah. They're not stum dancing. Yeah? That's the difference. It's from the Simchas of Torah. Whenever I was by Choshev Yidden, the Simchas of Torah is the day of dancing, but the Simchas of Torah is what it grew their simcha. It wasn't just some external experience because of the gashmis of an event, a simcha or something. It was coming from a very Pinimiyus place, and it comes with a meilus in Torah, with a shtarkai in Torah. And there's something to remember that. People always think, Chassidim, they don't really learn much. Yeah, that's not emes. The true Chassidim and Sorry Lav Hashem are going to learn all the time because of the avos Hashem, the avos of Torah. How are you going to be zoch to these wisdom of Torah? Bakshufan of Tamid. We have to request it. His face all the time. That's the pasuk from the full pasuk now. Yeah, the pasuk is in Tehillim, Dosh Hashem ve'uzo. Yeah, that's the Torah. Bakshufan of Tamid. Request his face constantly. Aidei tzedakah shel Eretz Yisrael. So how Rebbe Nachman teaches requesting his panav. Yeah, when we do the benching, we do Yoeh Hashem Panav. We always say in Birkas Kohanim and all the different times, Panav is Hashem's countenance. So how do we get that countenance? Through the tzedakah of Eretz Yisrael, by giving charity in Eretz Yisrael. Come over, b'midrash ein b'kashas panim ela tzedakah. Don't request the face through tzedakah. So that's why we have a special pasuk. We say every shachris, Moshe Kosov Tzedek Lefaniv Yahalech. So I mentioned this already when I learned this last week. But the concept of you should give tzedakah before you daven, because it brings down a Gilui Shechina. And then we'll be with the panav. Then we'll have zocher to the davening. So very important. You see everyone here brings a little coin in. It's a minhag, but it's also a pasuk that you'll be zocher to which is the point, to get to the face of Hashem. You won't have the countenance, whatever that means. Ein Tamid Ela Eretz Yisrael. But the only way it can become consistent is Eretz Yisrael. Tamid Einei Hashem Elecha Bo. Now, Baruch Hashem just came from Chutz La'aretz literally a few hours ago. This is the land that Hashem's eyes are always upon it. And
you didn't feel back where you were that Hashem's eyes were necessarily on it.
Oh, we had such a shmai, but I tell you why, because our kavanah was, I said it last Shabbos, and I gave a little shir over there in London as well, that when you're running through the week, you're like a Svi running through the valley. So you're coming from one mountain, which is one Shabbos in Eretz Yisrael, and you're running through to the next Shabbos of Eretz Yisrael. So because I knew that it was in between Shabbos, I was coming back to the Reb Yosef, the Tzaddik over here, and Meron, and the whole aura of Rashbi and the whole energy, and I have a schus as a festival tonight, so I'm part of Shirat David Efrat, 1,000 people getting chizik, and there's all the different mitzvahs we can do. I knew that's where my head and heart was, even though I was running through. So I was just picking up, it says in the Eretz Tzvi, you're just picking up sparks when you're running through the valley of Chutz La'aretz or Chol, or Mokum that's not so heilig. So Hashem is with you because your goal is not to be there. You understand? That's the key where Yidden, even if Rebbe Nachman talks about this a lot, and we have to get really into this Nakuda, of bakshum, being a mavakesh, of wanting, yearning, gaguim, having a chukka for Eretz Yisrael, having a chukka for the Pinimiyus, having a chukka for this gilui of Hashem, tamid. No, it shouldn't be Sefirah Hashem negdi tamid, it should be consistent. And it should have ishtavas, it should be, this is the derech of the tzaddikim. It shouldn't be a one-off. Like this is, my wife said to me, I'm not saying this to ask any guy, I'm just saying about just schus of chizikei rabbim and the fact that this is what we have to do. It's not like an option. She says, you literally have come, I didn't even go home yet. My wife dropped me off up the road and I ran down for mincha. Because that's the avoda. We're here to serve Hashem. We're not here to go and have a shower first and, unpack and do all our gashmis first. And my wife, I said, I'll come back and do the bags. She's such a tzedekah. So right now I would have been doing the bags. And she said, no, you stay in the shul and learn in between mincha and Maariv. I'll take care of the bags. So this is how we have to be. It's not because we're tzaddikim like in a gaiva way. It's because we're here to have a shtavus, to have a connection to Hashem. That's what it's about. It's not like a. It's a real thing, and every day we shouldn't take for granted. We take a little coin and we're here every shachar and put it in there with bezukta, the panav. This is nothing better. We're talking to the Eibishter. We're talking to Hashem Yisbarach. Mamish lifnei Hashem. Yeah, mamish lifnei Hashem. Know who you're in front of. When lifnei Hashem, you know what a big thing that is. So when you get to understand from Rebbe Nachman, is you understand the Kedushas Eretz Yisrael. You understand the importance is having a relationship with Hashem. Yeah, and the importance of doing chesed, and to doing a tzedakah to Ani Eretz Yisrael. This, he says over here underneath, you get into the Holy Land's Avir. That was the whole point of this Torah, one of the main Nakudas. You get into the Kedusha of the Eretz Yisrael, has a Kedusha, the land has Kedusha. You feel it when you get here, it's like a different level. It's also equally a differently challenging place as well, but that's because there's a tremendous ruchnius available. Like you said about the kotzim. Yeah, what's the kotzim? Kotzim are difficult. Yes!
Home again.
The kotzim are difficult. The kotzim, though, are the key. Rebbe Akiva was darshaning them. They're the key to Pinimiyus Torah. They're the souls who are outside the os, of the general osis of the Torah, because there's all these kotzim. What are these kotzim? So once it said, Rebbe Moshe Wolfson once said, he said that all the kotzim are all the neshamas that are chutz from the osius, that are chutz the machane, outside. They're all the souls. He was talking about it in this Torah as well, the amaratzim, the ones who don't know Torah. They're the ones, they're these kotzim. So in that place is a lot of dinim. Yeah. But what did Rebbe Akiva do? He darshaned. He brought out from them because he was able to honor them, because he was a baki in this whole Torah, being mechabed another yid. To honor another yid, being osik and avis as well, that brings out the LKovod in them, and that the LKovod is my Torah. As he said this just before. So by bringing out the LKovod in another yid, that brings out the Torah, that gives us the koyach to darshan, to understand the kotzim, and to understand the Pinimiyus that's within those kotzim. Because nothing's whatever. Everything has deep significance. So those crowns are also deep. And that was why Moshe Ben didn't understand initially until he met Rebbe Akiva's neshama, and then it started through Rebbe Akiva. So even Moshe Rabbeinu had to come to the tzaddik who were like Rebbe Akiva. As we said, it comes all the way down to Rebbe Nachman. These are the yidden who bring the ones who are outside back in. Which is okay.